We said it on yesterday's show. We were going to take the tact of you call me when Deshaun Watson is ready to play. And beyond that, we're going to focus on the team. Focus on a big test this weekend, on the road, Seattle, a good team, not an unbeatable team by any stretch of the imagination. But you have an uphill climb for the Cleveland Browns this Sunday at Lumen Field to get a big win, potentially propel yourself to 5-2 on the season with backup quarterbacks, with all the turmoil that has gone on. I was ready to focus on that, Ryan. We got our Friday report card. We'll talk about the Seahawks. We'll take a look at where we think the Browns have some advantages. But oh, wait. Deshaun Watson speaks to the media yesterday. I guess in relation, this has to do with when Deshaun Watson will be ready. I am truly approaching it as call me when Deshaun Watson is ready to play. Well, yesterday, he said some things that I can start to piece together this timeline a little bit. I can start to sit there and what was said, what was he told, what's the medical reports? Yeah, he needed to defend himself a little too. And it was pretty clear to me that he wanted to speak to the media to maybe get some of the things off of his chest about what Brady Quinn had to say and about this narrative that is out there that he doesn't want to play for the Browns or he doesn't want to play because all the money that was given. He shot that down pretty emphatically. And it was something I will tell you, I never felt that way. I never felt that this was something that Deshaun Watson could play. He's just sitting out. I've never felt that. My anger and frustration has really just been focused on the injury. And that's something that is kind of stupid to be angry at. I guess you can in sports. You get angry when a star player gets hurt. And you want answers. You want it to be healed. That's not quite where we're at. But nonetheless, there were still some things to piece together from what Deshaun Watson had to say yesterday about his timeline, where that shoulder is at. We got Ohio State. We got the Cavs home opener. We got it all for you right here on a Football Friday edition of the Matt Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning. A very happy Football Friday for you. As always, jam-packed. We'll get to the Friday report card coming up. We'll take a look at those Seattle Seahawks. Some things that stand out. There's some things that the Seahawks do pretty well. There's some areas that they're mediocre in. And there's some things that the Browns can get after, certainly. So we'll get to the report card coming up. We will have our picks with Tipico. Keeping our head above water right now. It's pretty easy when you just make picks just on the money line, right? But that's not what we do here. We do the spread, and that's a tough thing to do. I'd like to thank Baker Mayfield for last night. Just the gift that keeps on giving. Several credits lost there. Ohio State back in action. We'll have Sonny Gupta joining us from Tipico, Sportsbook Manager, to get all our picks in. We got you locked and loaded for a Football Friday right here, taking you up till 11 o'clock. So we got word, I think, Ryan, like almost as soon as we were getting off the air, I think yesterday, that Deshaun Watson was going to speak. And this is a little out of the norm. For number one, injured players don't normally speak. Even if you're a regular starter and you speak to the media regularly, as Deshaun Watson is, usually if you're injured, you don't play. I'm sorry, don't speak. Well, if you're injured, you don't play. But you don't speak to the media either. And just on that, I think there's a leadership quality there with Deshaun Watson to say, I want to get out here. I want to get in front of this. To try to maybe give some calming presence. Like, the Browns know what's going on. They know this, I don't want to say circus, but like this storm, right? That people are sitting here questioning it. They're angry. They're frustrated. There's all these things. And all they can do right now is have people speak to the media. Kevin Stefanski speaks almost every day. Have Deshaun Watson speak. So I give him credit for that. Now, some people, if you want to read into him being bothered by the Brady Quinn comments, let's start right there, Ryan. Let's get right to that sound. So yesterday, the question was asked, and as always, great media people out there, they asked the questions that needed to be asked. And Daryl Ryder asked a lot of questions around some of the media, some of the things that have been said. You know, we talked about Brady Quinn and Quincy Avery going at it on Twitter. This notion that Watson got the $230 million and he's sitting out. There's a side to it to say that is so appalling that Watson will not let that stand. This aggression will not stand, man. And he wants it out there that is not true at all. There's another side to say, if it's really that untrue, then don't even address it. Like, just let it go. Don't even let it. But that was a shot at Watson's character, was it not? I mean, not only what Brady said to end the whole thing, we know that. But when you hear a statement that a guy's only in it for the money, that he's sitting out because of the $230 million, that's a shot as a man. That's a shot at him as a man and as a person. So I respect Deshaun Watson to say we're not gonna let that stand. I need to get this out there. Again, whether it needed to be done, I don't know. But we'll start here. Deshaun Watson, Browns sound courtesy of the Browns yesterday. Watson, what about this notion that you don't want to play? What's this notion that you might not want to play? Here's what Deshaun Watson had to say yesterday.
Why would anybody listen to any of that stuff? All that is speculation. So if it ain't coming from me, then all the other so.
There you go. I mean, laying it out as best he can. Just say, if it's not coming from me, it's just made up. And I will tell you this, that I don't believe Brady Quinn got that from anybody. I think that was a take from Brady Quinn. I haven't heard that as a sort. Like, it's just Brady in media saying something to rile him up, and I guess it worked, right? I don't believe that there's anything factually behind that, because we would have a bigger problem. We would clearly have a bigger problem. And to this other cut about the notion of not playing, Watson said here, what did he say, Ryan? He goes, dude, I've been trying to get back for 2 years. What do you want me to do? Here's Deshaun Watson yesterday. Again, the notion that you don't want to play.
When I want to play, I just worked my ass off for 2 years to get back to playing. So why wouldn't I want to play? This is what I've been doing since I was 6 years old. So why wouldn't I want to play? I see the same things. I see all the narratives, this, that, third. I mean, all that stuff is just trying to cause controversy and commotion.
There's an element where I'd say I wish he didn't see it. In today's day and age, I appreciate his honesty, because a lot of times coaches or players stand up there and there's these huge national reports out all over social media and they go, well, I didn't see that. And if we all know, you're like, that, come on, man. There's no way. There's no way. As much as you try to shut down social media or shut down the TV, you hear this kind of stuff. So I appreciate Deshaun's honesty from that standpoint. Like, yeah, I saw it, and that's not true at all. To just shut this down. And again, my frustration has never been that I don't think Deshaun wants to play. On a base level, Ryan, he needs another contract. Yes, $230 million is a lot of money. That is a lot of money that you can retire on. That is generational wealth. Deshaun Watson is in a position to get yet another deal after this. I don't believe that the Browns, or even myself, I never once believed that this was the only contract that he was going to get with the Browns. The fairy tale ending is he came here, he signed this first one, he signs another one, and then maybe signs another one. And he's here for 10 years playing quarterback at a high level. Why would he not want to sign another deal? Even as groundbreaking as his was, he sees where the money's going. He sees where the NFL is going. Of course he would want to play. Of course he would want to be out there to try to earn yet another contract. And guys, as crazy it is as it is, this is true. Every Sunday is an opportunity for them to make money. Every Sunday. Because all it takes is one, not just one good season, but in Deshaun Watson's case, every Sunday, there's a missed opportunity for him to go out there and throw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns and have a game that we talk about for years. That when they sit down at the negotiating table, go, hey man, remember that game against Seattle? Threw for 475 and 5 touchdowns, led us to a win. You remember that? Yeah, go ahead, write that on down. There's an opportunity for that to be had every Sunday. And I feel like he wants a piece of it. If he was 35, if he was 37, maybe there's a different conversation to be had. That's not the position that we're in. So for Deshaun to shut that down, I agree with what he's saying, and I believe him when he says that. The more interesting part to me was as more of this information comes out about the shoulder, and that's really where I am choosing to focus my energy and really where my focus is. is when is he coming back and when is he going to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? That's it. That's all I care about at this point, because the Browns won't be right until Deshaun Watson is right. My world as a Browns fan will not be right until Deshaun Watson is right. So now we start talking a little bit about the shoulder. First question up, Deshaun Watson, did you rush it a little bit last week when you came back? You played the 12 snaps, you got hit, but did you rush it to get back last week for that game, Deshaun Watson?
I don't know. I mean, the time limit for, usually rotated cuffs are 4 to 6 weeks. I felt during the week that, I had the opportunity to play, right at that kind of 4-week mark. I just didn't have the strength and things like that to be able to go out there and play a full, complete game. So, the medical staff, Kevin, decided to, hold me out so I don't, do anything worse.
Should I put the big play investigative team hat on? I need a magnifying glass in here, Ryan, is what I need. A little Sherlock Holmes action for you. A monocle.
A pipe?
Yes, what's going on here. Did everybody catch what he said? Can you play the first part? I don't want to play the whole thing again. Can you play the first part for me again, Ryan? This is Deshaun Watson. Did you rush last week?
I mean, the time limit for, usually rotated cuffs are 4 to 6 weeks. I felt during the week that, I had the opportunity to play, right at that kind of 3 weeks, 4.
That made it sound like they knew the whole time it was a 4 to 6 week injury. Again, Deshaun Watson just said what we now know is that this is a 4 to 6 week injury, and he made it sound like he was trying to come back in that 3 to 4 week range, which was last week. The hell were we doing for 3 weeks then? Seriously, did everybody else catch that? Am I making something up here? That sounded like to me that they knew from the jump that this was a 4 to 6 week injury. That's a little bit different than the narrative that they were putting out that he was truly day to day. So that was the first thing to me. Now, again, to bring it back to my focus of him getting back on the field, then the good news is he is now into week 5. Or how, whatever the timeline, at least week 4. And you sit him out to come back for week 5, right? So then you would believe and hope that we're rounding the corner here. Watson, when do you hope to play next?
As soon as possible. As soon as possible. So, we just got to go, through the process again and rehab and get back with the docs and try to strengthen it as much as possible and get the pain away and try to get back on the field.
Again, if I want to rip that one apart, we were told it wasn't a pain management thing. But it sounds like you got to get the pain away. And I get that it's the velocity, it's him trying to throw the football. Final one. This goes back to the timeline. Deshaun Watson yesterday, sound courtesy of the Browns. Did playing last week set you back, Deshaun?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it did or if it didn't. At the same time, I wasn't 100% last week. So, I just try to, like I said before, go through the game, go through the process of see if I can make the throws, make the plays. I thought I was ready, wasn't ready. At the time, I took a hit, took a blow right to the same area once I hit the turf on that last play, I guess, that I was laying down.
So the negative is that he doesn't know if it actually set him back, which, again, I could raise the alarms and say that's concerning because we're on to Thursday. You would think that they'd be able to reimage that and there was residual swelling and all that kind of stuff. But then where he mentioned the part about that he got hit right in the same spot again. Right in the same spot again. And that goes back to a take I had yesterday. And the clip we just sent it out this morning at Matt Fontana Show. It's getting Watson back is step one. There's no guarantee that he's not going to get hit again or that he won't miss more time. And I think that leans more towards going to find a quarterback or going to get somebody at the trade deadline. And Sunday's that linchpin. I think Sunday's going to be a massive game to watch how P.J. Walker plays, to see how the run game is with Kareem Hunt, and see if you can continue on with this. We know the ultimate goal is to get Deshaun Watson back. After hearing everything that I heard from him there, I can't put any faith that he will be back next week against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sorry. Because if he can't unequivocally say that he wasn't set back, that he admitted getting hit on the same spot on that shoulder, and then now this timeline where he admitted he tried to rush it and get back on week 3 instead of week 4, I'm now not putting very much stock into him playing against Arizona. And maybe that's wrong for me to do. And maybe that's the tack the Browns have got to start doing. Because it started with, no, he's going to play, it's going to play. And if he doesn't, then we'll flip the other way. Why not start with he's not going to play? Maybe let's start with he's not going to play. And that comes back to our new edict on the show. You call me when Deshaun Watson is ready. You call me when Deshaun Watson is ready to go. The problem is you won't know until you actually get him back out there. He could have a good week of practice, the shoulder's feeling good, and he steps back out on that field, and on the second pass play, he gets sacked, and he goes down on the shoulder. What are you going to do? I thought about it last night, to be honest with you, Ryan, watching Thursday Night Football. Baker Mayfield got beat the hell up yesterday. And gutty performance from him. It was kind of a fun game to watch, to be honest with you, some crazy catches and all that. But watching Baker in the pocket getting destroyed. And it kind of just reminded me on my head, like, how hard those hits are in the pocket. Even in an era where they're protecting the quarterbacks like nobody's business, there are still shots to be had. There are still throws that you hear the commentators, you hear Troy Aikman and Kirk Herbstreit say, man, he had to stay in there to deliver that pass. He took a shot for it, but it was a 15-yard strike down the middle for a first down, but he took a lick there in the pocket. Gonna have to deal with that. That starts going back into the, do they go get a quarterback or not? But hearing from Deshaun yesterday, it just furthers where I'm at. Just we need to be called when he's ready to go. And I know he's working hard. That was never really, frankly, a question for me. I believe him. He wants to play. I know for a fact that the Browns need him to play, and they want him to play. And they are looking at it from a bigger picture standpoint of where they stand within the season. You have been afforded that because you have a couple of wins now that you weren't supposed to have. And even if Sunday doesn't go your way, I looked at a lot of predictions already, Ryan. USA Today, CBS, everybody's picking Seattle. Not by a lot. I see a lot of 1 and 2 point, not even 1 or 2 scores. Like, I see a lot of 3-point games. You know, I see 17-16. I see a lot of close games with Seattle. And we'll dive into that a little bit more coming up on our Friday report card. There are elements and areas where the Browns can take advantage on Sunday, even without Deshaun Watson out there. But the Browns know as we all do, they need to get him back. And hearing from him yesterday, I just get the vibe that I think we're further away than we think. I don't know. You tell me if you agree or not, Ryan. Like, I think just hearing from Watson, if he can't unequivocally say that playing last week didn't slow him down, I'm starting to operate that, yeah, we're in this kind of for the long haul a little bit.
Yeah, obviously we have a very limited knowledge on the injury, and
sure,
it seems like he just has almost the same thing. Just a lot of ambiguity and mystery, and it sure as hell doesn't instill any much confidence.
No, it doesn't, and that's the problem. You still have to have a team now to go out and play this game. So we talk about Sunday. We flip now the book to getting ready for Sunday in the Seattle Seahawks. And what I do think is a positive is this team believes that they can now win without him. We all know they want him out there. We all know it'd be easier to do it. But this team truly has a belief now that they can win games without Deshaun Watson. That in itself is an extremely powerful thing. And I don't want to draw this back into a Kevin Stefanski debate, and I don't want to draw this back into what the season will be, how it plays out. I'm talking about just going into Sunday, where, like the Baltimore game, okay? That one was morning of Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I chalked that game up to nothing. I said that the Monday we did that show after that Baltimore game. I said I have nothing for that game. You went on the bye, and you have come out and won 2 drastically different games. You won a low-scoring, knock 'em, drag 'em out type game against the 49ers, and then you had to go out and put up points. Now, the defense helped a lot of that. Dustin Hopkins and his golden leg helped you a lot in Indianapolis, but you had to score a lot of points, and you had to have some fluky things happen. But you now have the barometer, and I think as the Browns start to come up almost with like this secondary game plan of how to win without Deshaun Watson. Quarterback aside, I'm not even talking about P.J. Walker in this. I'm talking about the version of the Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson. They now have a game plan. they now see a light at the end of that tunnel to go, yeah, that is actually how we can do it. It's easy to say in the NFL, well, win with the quarterback. Yeah, that's what it's built up. That's what they want. But now you see a way of, yeah, okay, we got to play good on defense. It's a little bit of a different way to do it. And you need the offense sometimes to make mistakes. Rest assured, I don't think you're going to be seeing the mistakes that Gardner Minshew made in that game from Geno Smith. I like Michael Pittman. DK Metcalf is better. Tyler Lockett would be the second best receiver on the Indianapolis Colts. He's much better than Alec Pierce, who still made some big plays against you. And I think Kenneth Walker and Jonathan Taylor are in the same realm. So you got to have a wash there. So if I talk about the defense, you're going to have to force Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks into some turnovers. Oh, wait, one of the things I'll bring up for the Friday report card, for as bad as the Browns are, third worst in the league, by the way, in turnover differential, the Seattle Seahawks are top 10. They're not the best, but they're pretty good when it comes to the turnover ratio. Jamal Adams, I think he's back, right? Like, he should be good to go. There are players in that secondary that you got to worry about, too, on the offensive side of things. But the Browns do have a path. They see a way that they're going to be able to get a win. And I'm super excited to see how that plays out on Sunday. We'll get more into that coming up on the Friday report card. I just want to touch quickly as well, because we're going to have a lot of football coming up, certainly on the show here today. We'll get to our report card. We'll get to our picks. Sonny Gupta as well coming up. But what a night tonight. Cavs home opener, against the Chet Holmgren. Sorry to Shea. It's really Shea's team. I really want to see Chet Holmgren tonight. I do. Oklahoma City Thunder in town. Cavs a 3-point home favorite, which I think is spicy, to say the least. You know me and the alternate lines, man. I think I like the Cavs minus like 6.5 tonight. Am I crazy?
Really? I don't know.
So there's two ways that you play this out.
Yeah.
Because we know with Garland, game time decision, he's still, get played, but then still bad in the hamstring. Dean Wade's out with an illness. Jaren Allen's not going to play tonight. But as the betting goes on, so what you can do, if you have a line like that where it's 3, the Cavs are going to win tonight. They're not going to lose their home opener tonight. And I'm assuming it's going to be packed down there at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. It's great. I love it very much. So I believe the Cavs are going to win. And that 3, that'll get you even money, right? But you like to add the little boost if you want. If anything, if you don't like the line, and I do this for football too, let the game start. Let the game start and hope that Oklahoma City goes on a little run or something. And then maybe you get the Cavs at -1 or dare I say +1. You jump on that, you feel a lot better about it. I do the same thing with football. The Bills, I placed my bet -9 before the game. But then I saw Tampa Bay took the ball. They had the ball to start. And I was hoping for a touchdown. Because if they go down and score a touchdown, what was -9 before the game, it's probably going to get down to 7 or 6 if they score a touchdown. Now, it wouldn't matter because they won by 6. So that's a little game that you could play as you do your betting with Tipico. Let the game tip off or kick off, and then your line, live betting will kind of move and slide on that. But I like the Cavs tonight to get a win, certainly. Just the energy. The energy that I think will be at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse tonight is great. Cleveland's got the best fans in the world for a lot of reasons. And I think Cavs fans, it's funny because we're all Browns guardians and Cavs fans, but it's funny how I think people kind of flip. Like, cheering for the Browns and tailgating for the Browns is different than going over to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. But it's going to be loud tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'd also be remiss this morning if we didn't say thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Cavs organization and the family of Bobby Bingo Smith, passing away yesterday. Cavs legend, number up in the rafters, so very deservedly so. So thoughts and prayers out this morning to the Cavs nation, but certainly Bobby Bingo Smith's family as he passed away yesterday. Ohio State, bouncing back. Saturday night games can get a little worrisome for me. And Camp Randall is a very hard place to play. I'm worried about this game, Ryan, just from a letdown standpoint. Ohio State 14.5-point favorites against the Badgers. I like them at that number. I don't know if I like them a lot more. We'll get Sonny Gupta's thoughts on that a little bit later when he joins us at 10. But we will get into some Ohio State stuff as we're getting ready for Wisconsin, Ohio State Saturday night, tomorrow night on NBC. Primetime game, going to be a lot of fun. So we got it all for you. Cavs tonight, right into Ohio State tomorrow night, and then that 4 o'clock kick Sunday. Don't forget, too, we're on the West Coast, so it's a 4 o'clock kick. So you got time to get up and get those chores done as you normally do.
How do you feel about games at 4 o'clock?
I hate them.
Yeah?
I hate them. Mostly from like I'll just have anxiety watching the 1 o'clock slate. You know what I mean? Where when the Browns play at 1, yeah, there's chances that they lose, but then I just drowned it out by watching the 4 o'clock slate. And then the other tough part, which I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to, we're getting close to bedtime. And Sunday is bath night at the Fontana household. And trying to get a 2.5-year-old in the bath is not always the easiest thing in the world. And trying to get things ready for school on Monday. So, like, they kick off at 4. That game will be on still at 7:15. Yeah. And that's bedtime. So, gets a little dicey. Gets a little hairy there. But it is what it is. 4 o'clock out there on Sunday against Seattle. All right, let's do this. Let's catch a little bit of an early break here. When we come back, we're going to jump into the Friday report card. I want to dive into some things about the Seattle Seahawks, some areas where I think the Browns can exploit, and try to turn this into what I think needs to be a low-scoring, kind of drag-out type of game. And there's one player that there's going to be a key to doing that. I'll tell you who it is. We'll talk more Browns-Seattle coming up with our Friday report card. Everything that you need on Big Play, folks. Last night, Boobie Gibson back with his show with Rafa. You want Cavs coverage? No better place than Boobie Gibson. Former Cleveland Cavalier. Did Boobie join Big Play Big Bets at one point? I feel like I saw him on a show one time with Dave and Nick. I don't know. Anyway, here's the cool thing about Big Play. We have a lot of people here doing a lot of different shows. Ohio State, Bobby Carper, Anthony Schlegel, Sunday nights. You got the Hanford Dixon Show football. You got Greg Williams doing a little bit of football. Did you see Greg Williams on the graphic last night for Baker Mayfield? He was up there on the coaching graphic there for Baker. So Greg and Blake have their show. Don't forget, of course, Reflog, Josh and Maria Cribbs with the return, Drennan with bonus time, and then our daily show. So every single day, we are 9 to 11. Chico is 12 to 2. We're on the iHeart app, or just follow on Big Play. It's the easiest thing to do. Go to Big Play on Twitter. We retweet all the shows, all the streams. They're on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and all the podcasts that you need, Apple and Spotify, and of course, streaming again on that iHeart app. The cool thing about the Big Play channel is it streams 24 hours a day. So you'll get Bobby's show from Sunday. You'll get our show 5 to 7 replayed every single day. It's just a constant stream. So that's the channel to check out on iHeart, the Big Play channel. Let's get to the Friday report card when we return. Where are the matchups? The Browns can take advantage of it. And I have one giant key player for the Browns on Sunday. I'll tell you who that is next. Football Friday edition of the Fontana Show right here on Big Play.
Alrighty, Matt.
Let's do it. Hey, we got the Friday report card, as we always do. Browns, Seattle Seahawks this weekend. Where the matchups lie? Where do they work? We start, as always, with the quarterbacks. And the one and only resurgence of Geno Smith, rewarded with that big contract. He's got the Seahawks out to a 4-2 record this season. You see it there, a QBR of 93 on the year, Ryan, which I think
good.
When I try to watch and see, because they've missed DK Metcalf, they just turn over Jackson Smith-Njigba. Kenneth Walker, who I've always been a big fan of, last week was his first 100-yard rushing game of the season, which is pretty impressive. And it's funny because, some people look at QBR in this standpoint, or you want to read into it a different way. Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback. Like, he's up there with Dak and Jalen Hurts. He's got a better QBR than Geno Smith on the season. So, I'm not saying it's like one of these things where one of these isn't like the other, but he's paid like a franchise quarterback. He's playing like a franchise quarterback. And when I look at some of the things about Geno Smith, it's probably a little more of like me, like the wishing and the wanting. But Geno Smith is all but tied for sixth, almost fifth in the NFL in completion percentage. It's PJ Walker. Like that, like you have the stat right there. That is what sets it apart. Yep. That is what sets it apart. And they have the playmakers to get the football to, but that's kind of where I start the comparison here between Geno Smith. And we know it's tough with PJ Walker, right? Like we know he's a backup quarterback, but just kind of focusing on Geno Smith right here, that's the stat that certainly jumps out to me is almost a 70% completion percentage. And that is the mark of good quarterbacks. Like you take Tyson Bagent out of it. Do you know the best completion percentages this year? Josh Allen, Tua, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, then Geno Smith. Think of that list. Those are the elites right there. Geno Smith is in that conversation without a doubt.
Yep.
Now, how he does it, he's got an average over 7. This isn't a guy that's at 5, right, where PJ Walker is. He's up, like, I'm not making the comparison that Geno Smith is Patrick Mahomes, but their stat lines are very comparable. They are two quarterbacks that, like, you got to be worried about Geno Smith in this game. Now, the flip side to that is sacks and being able to get after him. The problem is Geno Smith's only been sacked 13 times this year. That's not, crazy or anything like Patrick Mahomes only been sacked 7 times this year. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But Geno Smith on 13 sacks. All right, let's get to what we're dancing around right here. That 4-2 record. Who has Seattle played? Because there are a lot of people, when I look at this game and a lot of the things that I was reading about Seattle, that their 4-2 is not the strongest 4-2 in the world. So they lost their season opener to the Rams, right? Lions, they won. Good win. Panthers, can't read anything into that. They beat the Giants, who are terrible. They lost to a resurgent Bengals team, and they beat a hapless Cardinals team last week. When I think about some of the stats with Geno Smith, and specifically about getting after the quarterback, Aaron Donald is the premier pass rusher that Geno Smith faced. And if I go back to that game, that again, Seattle lost, in that game, Geno Smith was sacked 2 times. So, I'm not saying that Seattle is fake here. I'm not. But Ryan, I read a lot into that. I don't think they've played an extremely tough schedule. The thing is, they're at home. And some of the gaudy stats about being at home. So the Browns have never won at Lumen Field. Lumen Field's, I don't even know how old, like 20 odd some years old, whatever. They've never won there. They've only played 2 games there. They haven't won. Here's the other one. Do you know the best NFL home records of the past 13 years? Seattle has the 5th best home record winning percentage.
I believe it.
Would you dare guess the team that has the best winning percentage at home since 2010?
Kansas City?
No.
Oh, 2010.
Since 2010, since 2010, which I maybe might be when Lumen Field opened. I didn't Google that. I should have looked it up.
New England?
No, they're second. Good guess, though.
Pittsburgh?
Nope. Pittsburgh is 4th.
Okay.
All right, so here's your hint. New England is 2, Baltimore is 3, Pittsburgh is 4, Seattle is 5. They have a home winning percentage of 68%.
Wow.
The other team is an NFC team.
Green Bay.
That is correct. The Green Bay Packers with almost a 78% home winning percentage up there at Lambeau. Lumen Field is not an easy place to play. And after they lost that opener to the Rams, they've won their last 2 games at home. So that's another factor to be had in with here. To stick just with the quarterbacks again, you got to get in Geno Smith's face. I think pressure will really be the key, as we know for the Browns, defensive line. But then we get to Seattle talking about some of their injuries on the offensive line. So we discussed this a little yesterday. There is a chance that they will have to start 40-year-old Jason Peters on that offensive line at right guard. Stone Forsythe's in at right tackle, but Phil Haynes missed their last game. He didn't practice Wednesday, and their Thursday practice report, Haynes did not practice with a calf injury. Guards and offensive line are a little bit different, where you don't practice all week, you can kind of throw him in there, but there's a chance that he does not play. Rest of the injuries, Lockett's got a hamstring, Kenneth Walker with a calf, and Bobby Wagner with an ankle didn't practice. All sounds like they'll still go. Jamal Adams, and then another guard, Damian Lewis, were limited. So you would assume, again, Jamal Adams would be back and playing for this game after he suffered that concussion. So your offensive line, the Browns' defensive line should have that matchup. So let's get to our next card here on our Friday report card.
Oh, a little more green than brown, Matt.
A little bit. I mean, okay, we start with the head coach. It's Pete Carroll. I really am shocked that he came back for this season. Really, even last year, he's pushed it. Is he not 70?
Oh, yeah. I think he's 72.
Yeah, he's up there. Good call. He is 72. Fountain of youth, I guess. There's still that video of him in training camp throwing passes and all that kind of stuff. Pete Carroll's seen it all, done it all, won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I mean, of course, that he's up there. Let me ask you this. Where would you rank Pete Carroll?
Yeah, so I was talking about this actually with Bruce on bonus time. I think he's a top 5
What time and where can I find that show?
You can find that on Twitter. It goes live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. But you can watch it whenever you want throughout the week. I said Pete Carroll's a top 5 coach in the NFL. And that's based on a model of consistency and just navigating turmoil. That whole Russell Wilson thing, I give him a lot of credit. I think he's a great coach.
So here's the thing on Pete Carroll. He's not like Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't call the plays, right? He's not even like Andy Reid. But you're right, on a legacy standpoint. So when I say the best coaches in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan comes to mind because he's hot. He's here. He's the big name. Mike McDaniel, Nick Sirianni. But from a legacy historical standpoint, it's Belichick,
Reid,
Carroll. Would you put Tom? Okay, let me do this.
I would.
Tomlin or Carroll?
Tomlin.
Really?
More Super Bowls.
Okay.
Well,
That's the thing. I'm a Mike Tomlin fan. I might lean Pete Carroll. John Harbaugh, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll.
I think Pete Carroll there. Riverboat Ron, Pete Carroll, no question there. And then I can't compare him to Kyle Shanahan. I just can't. They're just two different things. So you're right. So if you go Belichick and Reid, clearly 1-2. We have the debate of Tomlin / Pete Carroll, so that puts you in that conversation.
Tomlin has 1 ring, actually, not 2. And Carroll has 1, yeah.
1, yeah. They both have 1.
But
they've both been to 2.
Yeah, both 2 appearances, yeah.
Both 2, 1-1. Yeah, I mean, I would go Pete Carroll probably. I'm just thinking about where they're at today. But Pete Carroll is probably one of the better examples, like a Tomlin, like a Belichick, of the culture side of things. You know what I mean? He's had more turmoil, and I think Tomlin's dealing with it now. But there's a lot of turmoil going on. And Pete Carroll came out the other side of a massive quarterback change. Yeah. That they moved on from Russell Wilson. Yeah, Mike Tomlin's going through that right now.
I cannot believe that first year they lost Russell, they came back with Geno and made the playoffs.
I mean, that's something to be said about Pete Carroll.
A lot of people said they were the worst team in the league that year. We're obviously supposed to be. One at the bottom of the barrel.
Right, and Pete Carroll kept it afloat. So I think, again, it's got to be him just because at this point we're having Pete Carroll be a top 5, top 7 legacy coach. It's a little unfair for Kevin Stefanski, but very rightly so. We give it over to the head coach. We go to the receiving core now. We start with the Seattle Seahawks. So, of course, DK Metcalf been a little banged up, but he still leads the team in receiving yards, 337. He's got 2 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett has 2 touchdowns. Jackson Smith-Njigba getting his first one last week. Here's the gaudy numbers that you need to be afraid of for today, and we lump tight ends in with the receivers. DK Metcalf, 15.5 yards per catch. Noah Fant, 16 yards per catch. Tyler Lockett, 11 yards per catch. They will stretch the field. Now, if I go back to one of the keys of the game, which I will get to here just in a second, that's something that will hurt you.
Yeah.
If you want to make this a low-scoring kind of drag-out type of game, we're not going to be able to do that because they throw the football down the field. Now, conversely, Amari Cooper comes in with an impressive 16 yards per catch average. No other Cleveland Brown with at least a dozen or at least double-digit receptions is in double figures. You want to know the crazy thing? Donovan Peoples-Jones is averaging 12. Dude, he has 8 receptions. We are going into the 7th game of the season, and Donovan Peoples-Jones has 8 receptions.
Dude, the last stretch of Deshaun's 6 games back from the suspension, Donovan Peoples-Jones is averaging like 5 catches a game.
I mentioned it before. It's happened in the NFL when you got a guy entering a contract here and then all of a sudden the football's not finding him that quite way. I'm not saying that that's the truth because at this point they need to get the football to anybody they can. This is very clearly Amari Cooper. You know, like they're going to feed him, but I think Elijah Moore's ascension in this offense is another piece. So when you add it, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Njoku, here's how we come out. DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper, make your pick.
Amari Cooper. Better route runner, more reliable hands. Easily. I'll die on that hill.
Okay, all right. Now, for fantasy drafting here, and you're talking about the future of your team, you're taking DK.
Sure, younger, yeah.
Right. Can I get you a wash with Amari and DK? Will you accept that or no?
No.
You will not accept.
Amari's better than DK.
Fine. Tyler Lockett, Elijah Moore.
Tyler Lockett.
Jackson Smith-Njigba, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
It seems a little bit disrespectful to put Jackson Smith-Njigba just because he's a rookie, but I mean,
got to go JSN.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't fault you for that, especially after just the sample size that we've seen from.
They're not throwing the ball to DPJ.
Yeah.
Both have 3 acronyms: DPJ versus JSN.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
It's JSN. Tight end wise, you know, Noah Fant's got the gaudy numbers, but I'd wash/lean towards Njoku. Fant hasn't scored a touchdown yet, which you just know that I just gave him the Maloik that he will. Hadn't scored a touchdown yet this year.
Yeah, I think Njoku's better than Fant.
Well, and I think the other thing now that they threw it to Fant a little bit more because Metcalf was out. Metcalf's going to be back. The other thing, can I tell you one matchup, and we'll talk defense here in a sec. You know what? I'll save for the defense coming up. So we gave the lean towards wide receiver, but to be honest with you, I think this is the closest one of all the matchups we'll do. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's pretty close.
All right, we go to running backs. One, Kenneth Walker. First 100-yard game last week, which is a little bit of a shocker. But 6 rushing touchdowns on the year, Ryan. He gets into the end zone. And really, I think it's a lot of what we watch with him, or watch with the Seattle offense. They throw the football to get down there, and then they turn it to Kenneth Walker being the battering ram that he is, and he gets in. He's tied for 4th in the NFL with those 6 rushing touchdowns. So the red zone efficiency for Seattle is very good. I want to make sure I find this. Red zone efficiency for this season. Red zone scoring percentage on touchdowns only. The Browns are 5th in the NFL, by the way, at 65%. Where's Seattle?
What is that stat, Matt?
Scoring a touchdown, not just field goals, like the percentage chance of the end zone. So Seattle is only 21st at 48%. They only score a touchdown half of the times when they get in the red zone. Probably speaks a little more to Kenneth Walker getting in than not. The issue is you do not have Nick Chubb. This is no question here with Kenneth Walker as they face the Browns. It's them, especially without Jerome Ford. Now, my key for this game, Ryan, my key player is one Kareem Hunt. When I look at Seattle's rushing defense, they are 6th in the NFL, actually a yard better than the Cleveland Browns. You might be saying, now, how could it be Kareem Hunt? Because if you want to win this football game, in my opinion, you have to do it running the football. And to do that, you are going to need Kareem Hunt to do that. So the other stat that I'm quickly looking up, team average time of possession. The Browns are second in the NFL in time of possession. You must win this again this weekend. Seattle is 26th. There is one of the big discrepancies that you have got to take advantage of this weekend. The Browns' second best time of possession in the NFL, Seattle's 26th. They only average 28 minutes. The Browns are at 33 and a half. And I know in the NFL that sounds crazy. The discrepancy, I should say, from first to last is only 7 minutes. So that, but again, that in an NFL in a 60-minute game, that's a lot. So that is one of my big keys about, I'm giving the lean to Kenneth Walker, but I'm going to need Kareem Hunt to show up. I'm needing him to play well, and you've got to win the time of possession come Sunday.
Matt, what do you see? Obviously, it's hard to predict, but how do you see the splittage between Kareem and Pierre Strong? Like, if you had to put a number on
80-20.
If you had to put a number on touches for Pierre Strong.
So here's the thing about Kareem Hunt. He can play on third down.
Yeah.
So he is your better option as a back when it comes to pass pro, and certainly when it comes to getting out in the route tree and the screen game, which we're starting to see a little more of that, which I'd like to see a little more screens from the Browns. Again, going back to my win time of possession, make this a scrappy kind of fight out type of game. Make it that. And to do that, you can use the screen. Now, you're going to have to get Kareem Hunt some breaks, and he's battling a thigh injury. I want Pierre Strong in there only as Kareem needs a breather. That's it. And it'll probably be on third down more than less. I need 80-20. So if you're talking about an amount of carries, ideally, and this is coming to the Browns' game plan works, I want it like, here, I'll give it for you. I want Kareem Hunt around 21 carries. I want P.J. Walker around 6. I want Elijah Moore with 1 or 2. I want Marquise Goodwin with 1 or 2. Pierre Strong, 5 or 6.
I was going to say 7. So.
Okay. We're in the same ballpark there. I think that is a pretty good recipe for success of running the football. Again, against a very good run defense there for Seattle. Let's talk offensive line. Browns have a top 5 unit. It's not quite number 1 anymore. It's not quite type 3. But hey, listen. Jed Wilson's been playing well, all right? That offensive line, when they have needed them the most, the last couple of games, they have stepped up, and you have got to give Jed Wilson credit for that, Ryan.
How about this? Oh, you can't hear. I was clapping.
The applause. Give a little to Jed Wills.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Give a little to Jed Wills. Give a little to Jed Wills, all right? He has turned it around. Bill Callahan, Scott Peters, turned it around just a little bit. Offensive line-wise for the Seattle Seahawks, again, they're battling these injuries, but even when they're out there, they're not great. Charles Cross, left tackle, only grading out in pass pro at a 68. That is the 34th best tackle in the NFL. Myles Garrett, multiple sacks. I think I need multiple sacks. And we know he goes off the left side a little bit. He can go over into the right. Here's the crazy thing. Charles Cross has not given up a sack yet this year. I stopped that to say this. Ryan, who has he gone against? Nobody. Nobody, really. I could make the case. Okay, Brian Burns, pass rusher for the Panthers. But he moves around. Aiden Hutchinson comes off the other side, though.
Oh.
Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, who I don't, whatever. But this is a game that I think, let me just put it this way. Charles Cross going to give up his first sack of the season a little bit. You flip it over. They've had to battle a little with Stone Forsythe over there on the right side of things. His pass blocking grade, not good. Given up 2 sacks so far in limited snaps, by the way. And his pass blocking grade on the year for Forsythe, 49. He is one of the worst graded PFF tackles in pass block. Should be able to get after the quarterback. We talked about the interior a little bit. Their starting left guard, Damian Lewis, was on the injury report all week. He's not grading out great. And then their right guard, they might have to go with Jason Peters then. 40-year-old Jason Peters at right guard. You have the clear advantage on the offensive line. We flip it over to the defense, and when we do talk about Seattle, total defense is 12th in the NFL, 322 yards allowed. Talked about the rush defense, 87.5. That's good for 6th. But maybe a little work to be had here to allow the defensive pass game to flourish just a little bit. 235 is what they allow. That is 21st in the NFL. They are the 12th best scoring defense. Ironically, we give up about the same amount of points, 19.7 and 19.2 points per game. Seattle 19.7, Browns are 19.2. So, talking about that pass defense for the Cleveland Browns. Another key, MJ Emerson, top 10 in the league as far as cornerbacks when it comes to pass rating allowed. Quarterback pass rating when targeted. That's DK Metcalf, man. You're both 6'3". You're both pretty built. I'm going to need MJ Emerson to follow DK Metcalf. Then Grant Delpit. That's not a shot at Juan Thornhill or Rodney McLeod. Size is the name of my game when it comes to DK Metcalf. He lives off of using his size, using his strength, and going up for jump balls. I got to have Delpit, and I got to have MJ Emerson all over DK Metcalf in this game. Let Denzel Ward go on Tyler Lockett if you need, or Jackson Smith and Jigbo. Let those other guys. Do you need two guys on DK Metcalf the whole game? I think it's got to be MJ Emerson. I think it's got to be Grant Delpit, purely from a size standpoint.
Yep, I agree with you, man.
All right, let's catch a break. Come back. Our picks with Tipico. Get signed up. Tipico Big Play 150. I'll tell you more about it when we return. That beautiful QR code about to come up on the screen. Get signed up. Our picks are next. All right, let's get right to it. You had all that time to download the Tipico app, our NFL picks for Week 8. Let's dive right into it. courtesy of our friends at Tipico. Download that Tipico Sportsbook app. Get ready. We got baseball tonight. We have NBA. Cavs, there's a home opener tonight. Of course, a weekend slate full of college and pro football. A betting paradise, if you will, Ryan, this weekend as we dive into all of it. Get to Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150 when you sign up. Deposit $50. Get that $150 in bonus bets, plus that free $30 future dog pound bet. All you got to do, head right to it as I'm doing right now. Download the app. You can do the parlays. You can do the boost. You can do it all. It's so easy to use. I love it. I love the app. I love every part of it. All the games right here. Just scroll on through, and let's get right to it, Ryan, with our picks. So let's recap last week. A bit of a rough one.
I don't really want to, Matt.
That's okay. We had 12 games on the slate last week that we picked. Of course, we don't ever pick the Browns. But I went a modest 6-6. Ryan with a tough one at 4-8. So that improves, or actually really.
You're catching up.
I'm catching up a little bit here. So on the season, I am 41-37. Ryan coming out to 45-33. I'm already off an 0-1 start. I picked Buffalo last night. They did not cover. Ryan did pick Tampa to cover. So off to a 1-0 start. Let's get it started. The Houston Texans traveling to Bank of America Stadium. 1 o'clock kick. Panthers still looking for their first win. They're 0-6. Houston an even 3-3. This line held steady all week at 3.5 on the side of the road Houston Texans. Texans come in 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games, but they don't play well against Carolina. Houston 1-4 against the spread and straight up in their last 5 games against the Panthers. But a little road warrior action here for the Texans. They are 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games on the road. Carolina not only has not won yet this season, they have not yet covered, young Ryan. They are 0-5-1 against the spread their last 6 games. You do want to play maybe on the over-under. Under has hit 5 out of Carolina's last 7 games at home. And the under has hit 5 out of the last 6 games between Carolina and Houston. It is a 43.5 over-under. We do the spread. It's 3.5. Ryan, your selection. Public money on this game, 60-40, 60% of it is on the side of the Houston Texans. 3.5. Ryan, your pick, please.
I'm going to go with the public on this one. Just traded for C.J. Stroud in fantasy, so maybe that's why. But no, C.J. Stroud is having an amazing start to his career. Kind of looks like he might be running away with that Offensive Rookie of the Year, especially after Arthur Smith said, see ya, Bijan. So I'm going to take the Texans in this one.
This one's so hard for me because I know that Carolina is going to win a game at some point. I don't even necessarily need them to win. I just need them to somehow cover. I'll take him here. I don't trust the Texans to cover. I will take the Panthers here, plus that 3.5. Please get it done there. Another 1 o'clock kick. They stay in New York. Literally short trip there for the Jets as they are taking on the Giants. This is actually technically a home game for the Giants. So the Jets, a 3-point technical road favorite. Jets trying to keep it afloat at 3-3. Giants are 2-5. This line opened at 2.5. It is up to 3 on the side of the New York Jets. As far as public money goes for this game, Ryan, I've got it at 71% on the side of the New York Giants. Maybe they think they have found something there with one Tyrod Taylor. Let's start with the Jets. They are 4-2 against the spread this season, but they're only 3-9 straight up in their last 12 games. They're only 2-5 straight up in their last 7 games against the Giants, and the Jets are only 1-6 straight up their last 7 games on the road. You flip it over for the Giants, they're not covering either. They're only 2-6 against the spread their last 8 games, 1-4 straight up in their last 5. I'm going to ride with the Giants here. I think they just have a little bit more momentum, so I will take the Giants. Ryan.
I'm going to go with the Jets in this one. It's going to be another time where the defense is probably going to have to carry them. How about this, Matt? Both teams are allowing the same exact 363 yards a game.
So kind of like maybe the over on that
New
play
York
there.
thing.
We'll see. Saints taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Of course, we just saw the Colts. They fell to 3-4. The Saints starting to flounder just a little bit. This is a 1-point spread on the side of New Orleans. Ryan, this opened at 5.5. And it's all the way down to 1. Now, in part because 68% of the public money is on the New Orleans Saints here. I'll give you the trends. I'm going to ride New Orleans here. I saw the Colts. I don't really have much saying in them. And also, maybe a little hangover there for the Colts on how they lost that game. Jim Irsay out there bitching about calls. We'll see. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is the big kind of X factor on that. But the Saints got to get this right. Saints are only 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games, but they own the Colts. The Saints are 8-2 against the spread their last 10 games against Indianapolis, and they are 9-2 straight up in their last 11 games against the Colts. You flip it over, Indianapolis, they're doing an all right job covering. They're 4-2 against the spread their last 6 games, but they're 1-8 straight up in their last 9 home games, and they're only 3-11 straight up in their last 14 games. Colts are 7-13 against the spread their last 20 games at home when playing on a Sunday, though. I'm going to ride New Orleans here minus that 1. Ryan?
I'm going to agree on you with this one. It is in Indiana, but both teams looking to bounce back after losing 2 straight. But I'll roll with the Saints with you, Matt.
One of the bigger spreads this weekend, we got a 9.5er, and actually we have another 9.5er that we'll get to. But this one is the Patriots after that emotional win against the Buffalo Bills last weekend, taking on the Miami Dolphins. I didn't think we'd be entering this game where the Dolphins are coming off a loss and the Patriots are coming off a win, but here we are. This line opened at 10. It's down to 9.5 on the side of the Miami Dolphins. As far as the public money goes on this game, I've got it 66-34 on the side of the New England Patriots to cover a big 9.5. I think a big question on this one is Tyreek Hill. He was listed as questionable. He talked to reporters this week. He said he's good to go. We'll see. New England comes in just 2-9 against the spread their last 11 games. And how about this? They are 0-6 against the spread their last 6 games against the Dolphins. They are 1-5 straight up in their last 6 games against Miami. And New England is only 1-4 against the spread their last 5 games on the road. New England 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games when playing in Miami. Miami 8-2 against the spread their last 10 games, 5-2 straight up their last 7. They are an impressive 15-2 straight up in their last 17 games at home. As I mentioned earlier, they own New England down there at Hard Rock Stadium. Seems like a trap. Miami. I don't like it. That's my stinky one of the week. Dolphins, fish, stinky. Get it? They're wearing the throwbacks, though, are they not? They should bring those back permanently. Miami minus the 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Miami, too. It seems just like another bad team for Miami to beat up on. I believe they're getting Jalen Ramsey back, right? I saw something. Yeah, and how about that, Mac? Tua on a little bit of a reunion tour. First Jalen Hurts and now Mac Jones.
There we go. All the Alabama guys getting it done. No Alabama guys in this game, but the resurgence, Minnesota Vikings 3-4. Don't look now, Ryan. The Vikings entering a very favorable part of their schedule to try to turn this around and make a run. They're 3-4. They've won 3 out of their last 4 games. They take on the Green Bay Packers, where things seem to be starting to slip away there for young Jordan Love. This opened as the Packers a 1.5 favorite. It is now flipped to Minnesota minus a 1.5 on the road as the favorite here. As far as the public money on this game goes, 1 second for you. 61-39 on the side of the Packers. Let's see where the trends go. Minnesota 7-3 straight up in their last 10 games on the road. They are 6-2 straight up their last 8 games when they play an NFC North division opponent with where they're at. For Green Bay, 14-6 straight up in their last 20 home games. This feels like and stinks like a backdoor cover by the Packers, but I'm going to take Minnesota. I think they're rolling a little bit. I think they're going to quiet down the Danielle Hunter trade stuff. Jordan Addison looks like a star. And I feel like Minnesota is motivated right now to keep this afloat until they can get Justin Jefferson back. Green Bay's a really hard place to play, but I'll take Minnesota minus the 1, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota as well. Packers on a 3-game slide. Jordan Love, pretty big struggles there. And Minnesota coming off like type of win that can change the season. And you're welcome, Kirk, because you improved to 3-10 on Monday night because I bet on the 49ers.
There you go. I bet on the Vikings to cover there and get it done.
Roll Vikes.
Eagles with a big spread, 7 as they travel to Washington and take on the Commanders. Of course, the Eagles with a really nice win over Miami last week. Washington coming in with a record of 3-4. This line has moved from 5.5 all the way up to 7. But the shocking thing is, Ryan, the public money is 50-50 on this one. The slight favorite to Washington at 51%. So let's see what we got on this. I will start with the Philadelphia Eagles here. 6-1 straight up in their last 7. They are 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games against the Washington football team. Philadelphia is 10-2 straight up in their last 12 games on a road. And they are 5-1. The Eagles are 5-1 in their last 6 games when playing on the road at Washington. You flip it over for the Commanders. They're only 4-8 against the spread their last 12 games. 1-4 straight up in their last 5. They are 1-5 straight up in their last 6 games at home against Philly. As I mentioned, not good there. It's a big number. You go. I'm conflicted.
I'm going to go Washington to cover. You remember just a couple weeks ago, 4 weeks ago to be exact, in Philadelphia, Washington almost came out of there with a win. They won 34, or they lost 34-31 in overtime. This time it's at FedEx Field. Maybe they're looking for a little bit of revenge there, so I'll take the Commanders to cover.
I'll take them too. I don't like it, but I'll take them anyway. Falcons taking on the Titans. The Titans, what do they got left for this season? We shall see. We start with this one. This is a 3.5-point spread. 4-3 for the Falcons, 2-4 for the Titans. This opened as a pick'em game. It's now 2.5 on the side of the Atlanta Falcons, in part because where's my public money? 52% of the public money, so about 50-50 here is on the Tennessee Titans to get a cover in this one. Start with the trends here. Atlanta 1-5 against the spread their last 6 games, but they're 6-3 in their last 9 games straight up. How about the last 8 games between the Titans and the Falcons? The Titans are 6-2. Atlanta is only 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games when playing on the road against Tennessee. You flip it over for the Titans. We know they're not playing well right now. 2-11 straight up in their last 13 games. Floundering. But I'm going to take the Titans here as a dog. I got too many favorites. Give me the Titans +3. Ryan.
I'm going to roll with the Titans as well. It's going to be a gross game. Don't expect a lot of points. Over/under set at 35.5.
Ooh, that's low.
But I'll roll with the home dogs.
All right, we start here. Rams taking on the Cowboys as this is our last 1 o'clock kick, is it not?
One more after this.
One more after. Oh, yeah, that's right. 58% of public money is on the Dallas Cowboys, -6. As they take on the L.A. Rams down there in Jerry's World. I bring that up because I think it's a little fluky when they got to play 1 o'clock kicks there because it's really noon time for them. As far as the trends go in this one, started at 5.5. It's now up to 6.5 at some places. Coming into this one, the Rams only 2-8 straight up in their last 10 games on the road. They're only 1-4 against the spread. Their last 5 games when they play on the road against Dallas. For Dallas, 4-2 against the spread in their 6 games this season. The total has gone over in 4 of their last 6 games against the Rams. Dallas is 10-0 straight up in their last 10 games at home. I'm going to take the Rams, though. I got another dog in this one. Give me the Rams +6.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys. They're a great team. They play at home. Last 2 games they played at home. They blew out the Jets. They blew out New England. It'll be a weird game. That's another one to me that feels like a little bit of a trap, but I'll roll with the Cowboys.
All right, one more 1 o'clock one. This is in Pittsburgh. Jacksonville traveling on up. 5-2 for Jacksonville. 4-2 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers coming off of a big win. Jacksonville's a team I'm not sure I can really get a vibe on. The spread has held steady at 2.5 all week. Jacksonville, a slight 57-43. 57% of the public money is over there on Jacksonville. Quick trends. Jacksonville 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games. Jacksonville is 6-1 against the spread their last 20 games against Pittsburgh, but they're only 2-5 straight up. Jacksonville is 7-0 against the spread their last 7 games on the road, and 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games when they're on the road against Pittsburgh. For the Steelers, 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games at home, 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games, and 8-2 against the spread. It's 2.5 for the Road Warrior Jags here. What do you got, Ryan?
This is another one. Every time I swear they play the Steelers at home, it's so hard to go against Mike Tomlin, but I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think they can win by a field goal. They're 5-2, won 4 in a row, and this will be a big game. You know what? Don't sleep on the Jaguars. I know it kind of sounds crazy, but it seems like the Chiefs, but that number 1 seed, they're in that weak division. They can easily win the rest of their division games, so I'm going to roll with Jacksonville.
All right, 425 slate here. Ravens, 9.5-point favorite as they travel to Arizona. 69, nice. Percent of the public money is on the Baltimore Ravens minus that 9.5. It opened at 6.5. We got to get to Sunny, so no trends here. Ryan, 9.5 for the Ravens. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the Ravens in this one. Lamar Jackson might be one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league right now, either him or Pat, I would say. They're cruising, just came off an amazing win against Detroit. I'm going to roll with Baltimore.
I'm going to go with Cards to get behind that. I think Baltimore will win that game, but I think they're going to cover behind that with the Cards. Chiefs, 7-point favorite as they travel to take on the Denver Broncos. Public money, 66% of the money is on Kansas City. Denver, 34%. It opened at 3.5. It's all the way up to 7. There's something to be said, Ryan, about a road 7-point favorite here. But it is Denver. I hate this game. I really don't like this game very much. Shoot. I'll go Broncos to cover. I don't like it. Ryan?
I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Bengals, 49ers, -4 here on the side of the 49ers. Brock Purdy going to play in this game? I don't know. This is one of my locks of the weekend. Cincinnati, +4 all day long. I think Darnold's going to have to play. They're still battling some other injuries there. I think it's going to be a semi-shootout there a little bit. Cincinnati +4. Ryan?
I'm going to roll Cincinnati as well. I expect them to pick on Shavarius Ward, who just had an awful game against Minnesota. I'll take the Bengals to cover.
Sunday Night Football, Chargers -8.5. I swear off the Chargers all the time. I'll take them here -8. They're at home on Sunday Night Football. If they can't cover against 8.5 against the Bears, they got no business. Chargers 8.5, Ryan.
That is a big spread for a team who has not been what we kind of thought they would be. It is in SoFi. I expect a bounce-back game from Herbert. Tyson Bagent, second game of his career. I'll roll with the Chargers, too.
There it is. We'll get to Monday Night Football on Monday. Don't forget, at the end of the show, we got baseball. We got Cavs home opener. We'll get to all that. Sonny Gupta going to join us next. Tipico Sportsbook Manager. We'll get his thoughts on the NFL slate. We will get his thoughts on some college games. Big on the forefront. Sonny joins us next right here on Big Play. Stay with us. right, back here on the Matt Fontana Show. As always, Football Friday would not be complete without Sonny Gupta joining us. Tipico Sportsbook Manager. Use that code BIGPLAY150 when you get signed up. Get those bonus bets. Bet along with us all week. Sonny, I thought a lot about you, man, because what was it last week? Ohio State, Penn State. You loved the Buckeyes -9, and that last late-minute touchdown there by the Nittany Lions sunk us, man. But you were all over the Buckeyes last week. I took that. I liked that action at that 4, but you were right on it. They really should have been higher than that 4.5.
That last touchdown was killer. I told you I was going to sprinkle some on the alt line. I went -9.5 as well. So I actually broke even on that game, even though I was all over it because, man, that last touchdown got me.
All good. Sonny, let's get to it. We start with Ohio State, Wisconsin, nighttime game there at Camp Randall. I'm not saying shocked at the 14.5 because, the Badgers are 5-2 coming into this one. Watching how Ohio State plays, the Penn State game, but even how the season, I got to tell you, Sonny, my question is, I don't know if Ohio State can score enough points to cover that 14. When you face a team like Wisconsin, who I think their biggest thing is they haven't played anybody, right? It's a little like Penn State, where I look at Wisconsin, they're not ranked. They lost to Iowa in a 15-6 game. They really haven't played even the cream of the crop in the Big Ten. I like the Buckeyes minus the 14.5, but I'm a little nervous when it comes to them scoring. Your take on that 14.5 for Ohio State?
I'd love it more at 13.5, but I think here's what we have to going forward this season. This is Ohio State trying to prove that they belong in that conversation in the playoff, right? They're going to make statement wins at this point in the season. They've looked good. They've had the 2 big ranked wins against Notre Dame and Penn State. The public, to be clear, is 85% of the public is on Ohio State right now, even at the 14.5. It's a lot of points to lay, but I think we all have to expect Ohio State to try to make some statements here because they've had big wins, but they haven't been very convincing. If they were convincing wins, there's no question they would have been ahead of Michigan right now, but they're not because they've looked shaky at times. So I am on Ohio State minus 14.5 because they need to prove that they belong in that conversation, that contender conversation right now. So, yeah, I love 14.5 here.
Well, and I also think you're getting your college football playoff ranking next week. So I think there's something to be – there's a lot of discussion about where Michigan or where Georgia's going to be up top. But I think there's a chance, to your point, about Ohio State trying to score some brownie points there, if you will. Sonny Gupta joining us, Tipico Sportsbook Manager. Really the other big game this weekend is number 8 Oregon, number 13 Utah. Oregon seems to be that one team, Sonny, that people believe is leading the one-loss pack if somebody was going to make it back into the playoff. We know 2 losses, they're sunk. This game is in Salt Lake City. College Game Day is going to be there. Oregon is a road 6.5-point favorite, which is pretty big there. For Utah, their one loss was when they lost to Oregon State a couple weeks back. They obviously took down USC, who I think kind of maybe looks a little suspect right now. They beat a good Cal team a couple weeks ago. So the Utes, I think, have strung together 2 nice wins. Oregon, they rallied a little bit to beat Washington State last week. Your thoughts about Oregon, Utah, 6.5. Where'd you lay in your spread there?
So I jumped on Utah at +7. I love Utah here. This is one of those where I would have picked whoever was the home team here.
Okay.
So yeah, +7. Now it's +6.5. The public is literally split 50-50 here on our book here. So 6.5 is a very interesting spread. I love Utah because I don't trust Bo Nix on the road. I know that game against Washington is very close, but now Washington, after that very suspect win last week, I don't even know if we can trust their standings here. I'm just picking the home team. When it comes to these close Pac-12 matchups, I'm picking the home team, and I love Utah to cover the spread and actually win outright here.
Wow. All right. So there you go. Grab the outright win there for Sonny. When you think about other college matchups, no Michigan this weekend. They're on the bye. No Alabama. We got Georgia taking on Florida. That's a 14.5-point game because that is going to be played in Jacksonville for that game there. Of course, Florida State's taking on Wake Forest. Any other college game that you got a real vibe on that you're a fan of?
So Texas is another one-loss team here. Texas needs to look good the rest of the season. Obviously, it's going to matter, when they play for the conference championship, if they win or not, whether they get in. But I want Texas minus 19.5. I'd like him at minus 24.5. I'd like him at minus 30. Like, I think they're going to try to make statement wins going forward. Ahead of the Big 12 championship here. So, this is – I love Texas here against BYU. They're at home. Quinn Ewers wants to make a statement, and I think they will do it. There's still a lot of points this weekend.
To the NFL slate we go with Sonny Gupta from Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. Sonny, Browns, Seahawks on the road. We know how hard Lumen Field can be to play at. Seattle minus 3.5, which I think is – actually kind of a kudos to the Browns, right? You're going to have a backup quarterback in PJ Walker. We know how good the Browns defense is going to be. The over-under is already just at 38. I think a lot of people might slam the under there. And then same thing, right? Like how many people bet the under in the Colts-Browns game and they had 40-odd some points in the first half. What are you seeing with the Browns in Seattle, specifically that minus 3.5? I'm shocked it's not up to 4, maybe even 5.5 for the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't know what you're seeing from the Seahawks that makes you believe in the Seahawks.
It's more about the Browns, I guess, Sonny. Like I like PJ Walker. I mean, I guess it's the Browns defense, right?
Yeah, like you said. So 38, I believe, is the lowest total that we have on the book. Oh, actually, let me take that back. It's the Jets Giants 36.5, but it's one of the lowest totals of the week. So yes, I'm all over the under. So is the public. It started at 40. It's down to 38.5. Myles Garrett right now is our odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. He's at plus 200. Him and Michael Parsons are actually tied at plus 200. I love the under here because I think Myles Garrett and that Cleveland Browns defense tries to make a statement. They gave up 2 rushing touchdowns to Gardner Minshew last week. I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think they're going to let any quarterback tear him up like they did last week. So I love the under here. I would not lay the 3.5. It's it's not a comfortable number here because I feel like the defense is, going to come out here to play and really make a statement here.
Some other games I want to ask you about. One of the ones that we kind of went back and forth on was Vikings-Packers. Vikings a 1.5 road favorite up there in Lambeau. Vikings seem to be turning things around a little bit. That's a game we had our eye on. The Jets-Giants games you mentioned a little bit earlier. Sonny, I don't know. It's kind of weird because the NFL slate's a little like college. Like I'm lacking a little bit. There's no real marquee matchup. Bengals-49ers might be the game that people want to see, but the problem is we don't know if we're going to get Sam Darnold in that game. It's at 4.5 for the 49ers. Any pro slate games that you really have focused on? One game that you really like this weekend?
Yeah, so last week it was almost coin flip games, right? There was 5 or 6 that were under 3 points spreads here, whereas this week it's all these. You have to lay 7 if you really want to get on the action here. The one I'm keying in on is the Eagles-Commanders game. So okay. Washington's at home, which is why the Eagles are only laying 7 points rather than probably the 9.5, 10 that you'd probably expect. I love the Eagles to take care of business here. I think Ron Rivera is on the hottest of hot seats right now. The defense doesn't look great. I think Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator, is also on the hot seat. I can see if it gets out of hand here early, I can see it really being a blowout. So I'm on the Eagles -7. Right now, -7 is -108 on our book. I would hop all over that because I can see that going a couple more points towards the Eagles right before kickoff. I fully expect a blowout here in that game.
Yeah, I like it very much. Sonny, NBA's tipping off, so we'll get some picks with you kind of later in the future and anything, but I know a lot of people, Wembanyama seems to be a slam dunk. That's a horrible pun, and I apologize, for Rookie of the Year. The MVP is kind of up for debate now. Some people making the case for Luka, Giannis, things like that, but it seems like the 4 teams that really are standing apart from everybody else, it's Boston, it's Milwaukee, it's Denver, and a lot of people seem to really be up now all of a sudden on the Phoenix Suns as a team that could potentially hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy. You smatter in some other teams. We think the Cavs here in Cleveland are going to be a playoff contender. Don't really know about the actual championship. What are you liking about any NBA? Just overall, just big picture bets that you guys have seen at Tipico or anything personally that you're a big fan of on the NBA side of things?
I mean, I guess you already covered it.
Right.
I love Luka here. So plus 470, he's second right now in our MVP race. If the Mavs are a top 4 seed, we already know this is a narrative award, right? It's not based on advanced metrics or anything like that. It's who hasn't done it. We love the new guy winning it, right? So whether it's Embiid, whether it was Giannis 4 years ago, right? Like it's who is the hot new name. So if the Mavs actually can get a top 4 seed out here, which, that'll be its own kind of case, whether they stay healthy or not. But if they can do it, I love Luka here at plus 470 to take home the MVP trophy. The Suns, by the way, as a future, it's very interesting right now. So on our book, let me get you the exact odds right now. On our book, they're plus 650. They're the fourth odds on. They're number 4 for favorites. Bradley Beal's going to come back. He hasn't played yet. He is definitely a key piece here, and I think the Suns are a very fun team to root for as a future. We know this is driven by stars. It's driven by the biggest pieces. We know they're going to make another move before the deadline. I love the Suns here as a kind of value pick for a future as well.
Great stuff. Sonny Gupta joining us from Tipico. Use that code BIGPLAY150. Download it. You get the bonus bets. You can play with us all along. We got the Mecca. Anything on the World Series? You feel? Sonny, I have been the angel of death in baseball. Whatever I pick, it goes opposite. So I have picked the Rangers, so put a lot of money on the Diamondbacks is what I'm telling you. Any good feeling for the World Series as they start tonight?
So I'm not the biggest baseball guy. I'll tell you this right now. Between the two, we have 80% of the money on the Diamondbacks. So,
okay.
Yeah. If you want to just go with the public, Diamondbacks is where you should ride.
Didn't want to bring it up, Sonny, but what a week for your Michigan Wolverines there. How you holding up? Are you doing all right? Are you doing okay? Yeah. How's everything going? For those who don't know, Sonny's a Michigan fan. Are you okay? Is everything all right?
Well, I'm okay because hey, everybody's gonna play us, right? Like the schedule stays the same. We have not been found guilty of any wrongdoing. So I think I'm okay because we just won 49-0. JJ McCarthy's now the Heisman favorite, and I'm already ready to book my tickets for the championship game.
Unless those sanctions come down.
I'm doing very good.
Yeah. Speaking of college, thanks for saying. We had obviously a big shift. We discussed about the Heisman with things, and we kind of debated it this week. Penix is still there. We kind of went back and forth after his 2-interception game. He's still the favorite, which I get. It's closed up. Anything that you really like on that Heisman race?
So I gave it last week. I'm going to give it again this week. So Jordan Travis was plus 1,200 last week. He is plus 1,000 right now. Look, I didn't think J.J. McCarthy was going to jump up as much as he did, but he's now the favorite at plus 230. I don't think Michael Penix is now in it at all. So he is at plus 300. I think you can discount him. J.J. McCarthy is the favorite. Obviously, I'm a Michigan guy. I'm going to ride with him. I don't think we're going to lose another game this season. So that's interesting. If we do lose, though, I love Jordan Travis here. If they can get in, I think he gets it. Okay. So yeah, that's my value pick of the week here is plus 1,000. I love it here.
Cool. Great stuff, Sonny. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Friday. Enjoy the basketball, the football, the baseball, college, pro. We got it all. Sonny, appreciate it. Get to Tipico.
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
There he goes. We'll talk to him next Friday. There's Sonny Gupta, sportsbook manager there from Tipico. I didn't like that he went against us, Ryan. He took the Eagles. We both took Washington. And I trust Sonny very much. He's been on it. But I'm with him on Ohio State. I think the Buckeyes, I was a little concerned, like I said, with that offense and if they can score points. But then I flip it over to Wisconsin. 25-21 win over Illinois. They're not very good. They lose 15-6 to Iowa. They only put up 24 points against Rutgers. 38-17 is what they did against Purdue a couple weeks ago. And then their out-of-conference games, not great either. Yeah, I like the Ohio State play this weekend, minus that 14.5. Plus, the college football playoff rankings come out next week, the first ones of the season. There's something to be said about making a statement there. Buckeyes should be 3. I think it's going to lay out Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, then
probably Florida State.
Probably Florida State. Yeah, I was trying to look up the college, the coaching rankings. Excuse me. So the coaches poll that is out, or let's go the AP poll. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, then Florida State. Washington and Oklahoma are the only 2 other defeated teams. Dude, I don't know. They might put Washington at 4. I know Penix just looked bad and they didn't really do everything that they wanted to. You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. That's how it'll lay out. So we'll see. And again, I think of the one-loss teams, Texas, Oregon, Alabama, Penn State, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Utah. That's Oregon. They got the best chance to right that ship and to find their way back in, but they're going to need to face I don't even know. Are they in the same division? Do they have to face each other in the Pac-12 championship?
I don't know, Matt.
Because that would be spicy. That'd be a lot of fun to watch. But we'll see, because I think Ohio State's they're going to try to make an example here. I just keep waiting for this offense to like calm down, do something. Maybe they'll get Travion Henderson back, so we'll take the Buckeyes minus 14.5. All right, let's catch our final break of the morning. When we come back, we'll dive back into the Browns. We'll talk a little more Cavs for tonight and all of our wagers. We'll do the Cavs game tonight. We'll do World Series game 1. We already got our Ohio State bet in with Tipico. So we'll get to all that coming up. Big play, Matt Fontana Show. Stay with us. All right, wrapping things up here on a Football Friday. Don't forget, Chico coming up at noon. Don't go anywhere. He'll keep it rocking with you. Tipico sporting all of his picks. We'll get to our NBA picks. We'll get to our baseball picks for tonight as well with our friends at Tipico. So Chico coming up 12 to 2. All the replays of all of our shows. Big play, folks. When you want it, where you want it, how you want it. We're on all the social medias. We're on all the streaming platforms. Twitter, podcasts are on YouTube, podcasts in a way on YouTube. You can go back and watch them on Twitter too. But the straight up podcast, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. This game on Sunday, I think there's another little intrigue for me, Ryan, between the Browns and the Seattle Seahawks. Because if the Browns can get a win, right, and that's a realistic world, I think we've painted the pretty clear picture here today. I think you play a low-scoring, ball control, penalty-free, which we saw what happened last week with some of the penalties, and the Browns in their own right, not great when it comes to the penalties, but still, if you can just play that kind of game, and I'm going to ask them to play borderline perfect, you can get a win. Because it is Seattle. I see some holes. I see some things that they can take advantage of. But then in the grand scheme of the Deshaun Watson situation, a win continues for you to just make the right call when it comes to Watson's shoulder. Because you keep kicking the can down the road. And I am approaching a different tact when it comes to Watson that I think other people hopefully will jump on board with. Call me when he's ready. But Ryan, come Monday, you lose to Seattle, the calls for him to be ready and the calls for him to play against Arizona will be higher. You beat Seattle. You're going to go into a Cardinals game feeling like we can sit him again. And then you're really afforded the opportunity to get him fully healthy. Where it's wrong of me to operate this way. But as long as the Browns keep winning, you can keep sitting Deshaun Watson. And I know that will come crashing down one day. And it might even be Sunday. And you might there's a world that we get smoked by Seattle. There's a world that Geno Smith goes crazy with DK Metcalf and Kenneth Walker, and we can't do anything. I get that. There's a world that this defense doesn't put forward. They just don't have the game that they thought. And if anything, too, by the way, we're kind of on this like cycle here, 2 games on, 1 game off. That's kind of what the Browns semi have done a little bit. So take that for what it's worth. But if you can get a win Sunday, it just eases that conversation. Because I'm telling you, Ryan, if they lose on Sunday, I'm going to start this show saying it's time for Deshaun Watson to come back and play. And I'll make the case about him starting against Arizona, a team that you should beat. Maybe you don't need Watson at his full strength and you can kind of sit back and ease him back into things. But if you win and you're 5-2, and then you're facing a Cardinals team that you know everything you need to know about Josh Dobbs, and you get another defensive, because I'm also assuming that you're not going to beat Seattle without another great, stellar defensive effort. You'll be back home against Arizona. Like, I'm not saying this is a must-win game for the Cleveland Browns, but, like, imagine all the good it would do if you did. Now, even if they fall, you're still just 4-3, and we'll probably have a revisited conversation about Watson and where he's at, getting ready for the Arizona game and for the rest of the season. But, like, you kind of see what I'm getting at. A win against Seattle, I really think unlocks a big door or unlocks a real path that the Browns would love to follow. You win against Seattle, and I'm talking ugly. I'm talking 17-13. I'm talking 21-17, something like that. You got to drag this out. It's a low-scoring game, whatever. But if you get that win, I think it just opens a big path for this team to continue to let Deshaun Watson heal. The drama and all that other stuff, I actually feel like is settling down. For a week where we had the Brady Quinn and the Quincy Avery, and there will always be these people out there that are just on it, and they're going to rip Watson when they can. They're going to be upset about Kevin Stefanski and the team. Sure, fine, I get that. But I still think you're in a really, really damn good spot. And Sunday, I think, is just a key to get it. And Seattle's a team that this is going to be a fight. This is going to be a fight. It's going to be a hard game. And I got to tell you the one thing that I think keeps, like, not leaning me towards Seattle, because I'll take the Browns. I'll certainly take them to cover, is that you're on the road, and it's at Lumen Field. It's not an easy place to play. And that's something that really kind of tips me over. Yeah, they're players. We did the Friday report card. It breaks down. It's not as far. It's the gap between the Browns and Seattle is not as wide. Okay. The gap between the 49ers and the Browns was wide. The gap between the Colts and the Browns was not very wide. It was tilted towards the Browns. Let me ask you, Ryan, what do you think is the bigger gap? The Browns looking up to Seattle or the Colts looking up to the Browns?
So is this just because we have PJ Walker at quarterback?
Yeah.
So it's just, okay, can you repeat that for me again?
So again, imagine we are looking up to Seattle. Seattle's probably the better team in this, right?
Okay.
So we're looking up to Seattle. Is that gap bigger than the Colts looking up at the Browns last week? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say no.
Okay, no.
I would say no.
And I agree. I think this is closer to that. So you would go into it and say, all right, we should have a better look at this. And knowing that the Browns made some mistakes, yeah, should the Colts have won that game? I don't really care. I can't get away from this feeling that the Browns are going to win this game. I can't get away from it. And I know Seattle's better, but I also have this sense of the Browns that they know that they got one last week. You know what I mean? And I said I was never going to make excuses for the refs and as long as they're on the field making calls, making plays, some will go your way or not. I feel like the Browns know that they like we got a couple of here. So let's go out and make a statement of no question, and let's make hay while you can.
Matt, have you been keeping up with the Adam Rank reverse curse thing?
No, I've not seen this.
In the preseason, Adam Rank, he went through the Browns schedule. I think he projected them at 5 and what would that be? 5 and 12. And through the first 6 games this season, he's been wrong in every single one. The ones he had the Browns losing, the Browns have won, and the ones that the Browns lost, he said they would win, and he had Seattle beating the Browns. So that's a good sign for us.
All right, there we go. It's a winnable game. It is 100% a winnable game. There's a lot that goes into that win. And how P.J. Walker plays, I think a lot of people have brought up, you need to see something here. Because would I be lying to say, Ryan, that the faith in P.J. Walker is on the team, not the fan base? The fan base is probably in the right spot. He's in mop-up duty. He's doing fine. Yeah, you're 2-0 with him as a starter, but we all know he's not the long-term solution. Now, conversely, the Browns know that he is not the long-term solution. Your answer is Deshaun Watson. But they have not made that move to go get a quarterback. They've not even hinted. It's not even been like a report that has leaked out that they've even questioned things with P.J. Walker. That gives me confidence that they have confidence. But it's kind of weird. You know what I like it. I'm not saying it's misplaced. They see what they need to see out of P.J. Walker, but is this the P.J. Walker game? Is this finally the game that he gets a couple of touchdowns and is a big part of the offense? Name of the game for him. The short passes, the screen game. I do think he's going to throw a touchdown in this game. I think he'll finally get off that schneid and get a touchdown. But is this the game that P.J. Walker can calm things down? And then again, pie in the sky, you win, and P.J. Walker does enough for you to say, yeah, we feel confident in him running out there against Arizona. Him signing to the active roster, I don't think that guarantees you anything. You know, as fluid as that situation is, if they really still do need to go get a quarterback, they will. But there's a lot of intricacies with this game. It's not just the win and loss, which, again, you win and it affords you this path. It affords you this opportunity to head on down and say, we'll sit Watson again. And yeah, lo and behold, if P.J. Walker plays well, then you feel even better about resting Watson. Everything Watson had to say yesterday about his shoulder, at least it sounds like they've got this schedule. And this schedule should be coming up on the window for him to return. The biggest question will be, and we didn't get that, and I don't know if we ever will, how that hit in Indianapolis impacted or maybe even slowed down his healing process. We'll see. But make no mistake. You get done with Sunday, okay? Win, lose, or draw, and I certainly hope the Browns win. Then you stare down the barrel of at home against the Cardinals, and there will be no excuses for you to lose that game. But after that, Ryan, Ravens, Steelers. Those are games I would like Deshaun Watson to be back for. Broncos, Rams, Jags, Bears. I mean, there's wins on the way out the door. There are wins on the rest of the schedule for the Cleveland Browns. But, man, I think Sunday would just go a long way. Sunday would just be – it's almost like people talk about the division games being worth 2. This game feels like it's worth 2 because if you win, I'm going to feel better about sitting Deshaun Watson. If the Browns fall to Seattle, we're going to do this show on Monday and go, you know what, maybe it's time for him to come back. Maybe it's time for them to get him back out there. I don't know. We'll have to see. Mention it again. I really like the Browns to run the football a lot with Kareem Hunt. He's going to be a big key to this. And playing that ball control. Offensively, it'd be nice to start getting Donovan Peoples-Jones involved just a little bit more. And that kind of comes back to P.J. Walker. You know, we talked about the balance of the run game a little bit earlier, Ryan. What do you think a pass total would be? What would you put P.J. Walker's over-under pass attempts for this game on Sunday? What would you like to see it at?
So I would like it to be low, obviously, because then that bears well that we're winning and we're running the football a lot. I'm going to say if I had to just put a number on it, what I'm going to guess his pass total will be, I'll go 29 passes.
So he has gone 32 and 34 for an even 33 in the 2 games that he has played. I'll go less than that. I'm going to go 24.
Okay. Wow.
24.
Wow.
Down, way down. And that goes back to, again, got to run the ball. and try to limit a little bit there. But I'm going to say I need a touchdown from him this weekend. Yeah. I need a touchdown from P.J. Walker. We'll see what the Browns are at because of the mental side of this game. The thing is it being on the road, too. This seems to be a team that could handle this, saying, like, we're going to hostile territory. You've been at home recently, which has been nice. Colts game on the road, I think, proved you a little bit. You're back on the road here going on this trip. That's something where this team can kind of come together and get it done. So I like the Browns plus the 3. I really like Ohio State minus that 14 against Wisconsin tomorrow night. Let's get to our other wagers for tonight. We'll start with the Cavs. They take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a 3.5 point spread. I've mentioned this, Ryan. I really like the Cavs minus even 4.5 or 5 coming into this one. How about this? Oklahoma City Thunder, in their last 5 games in Cleveland, they're only 1-4, but they are 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games on the road against the Cavs. The under seems to be the play. The under's hit 5 out of the last 7 games between the Cavs and Oklahoma City Thunder when played here. But I like the Cavs a lot. They're at home. There's going to be a lot of swag, a lot of momentum over there at Rocket Mortgage Field. I was going to give me the Cavs minus that 3.5. I'll alternate that up there to minus 5.5. What about you?
I think the Cavs will win. I think they'll pull it out. I think it'll be a close one for the home opener. I'm really intrigued to see. I'm assuming it's going to be a Coro on Shy. If Jared Allen doesn't play, that's the problem. I expect Chet to have a really big game. I think the Cavs will pull it out, but I think it's going to be a pretty close one. Might come down to the last shot, just like we saw with the Nets.
8:03 tonight, World Series Game 1. Zach Gallen goes for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Texas with Nathan Eovaldi. We had Sonny Gupta on from Tipico. Massive amount of public money is on Arizona to win the World Series. Ryan, I will not say that. I will take the Rangers to win tonight, and I will take them to win the series. We all know how bad I've been at baseball, but I just don't think the Diamondbacks are going to do it. I'm sorry, I don't know why. I'll go Rangers.
Yeah, I would like the Rangers too. Bruce Bochy on the trails of some more history. I would love, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see the Diamondbacks. I love the match that they pull, and that how good of a story would that be for baseball? But I think the Rangers are going to get it done, and they're going to get their first rings.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So enjoy the night. It's going to be a fun night. We got a little basketball, we got a little baseball rolling, and we'll get ready to go this weekend with a lot of football and Ohio State and the pros. Other side of things with Michigan, this continues to come out about what they knew, what they didn't know. But the interesting part is, Ryan, that they are mobilizing and getting ready to go for this investigation. So there's reports that NCAA is on the campus at Michigan, that they are going to start talking to people. I don't really see it as they're going to do anything this season to Michigan, but I think they're starting to gather information. It means that they're ready to go as soon as the offseason hits. They're not going to do anything right now. Then, I mentioned this yesterday too, who is going to be the call here? Is it the Big Ten or is it the NCAA? Because if it's the Big Ten, I assure you that this is not going to happen during the season. They won't try to do anything to keep Michigan out of the Big Ten championship game or the college football playoff. So I don't really expect much to happen. I just thought it was interesting that they're already starting to get this investigation underway.
Yeah, Matt, did you see the update from Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports about TCU?
I did not. So, yeah, the TCU.
Yeah, just for those who might not have known, but TCU coaches learned from other staffs about Michigan's elaborate sign stealing before the college football playoff semifinal. TCU changed signs but used dummy old signs to trick the Wolverines.
How'd that game play out for him? How did that game play out for you? So, again, I think it's so hard because people want to. I hope they throw the book at them, but I just know that they're not. I would love them to throw the book at them, but I don't think they will. I think this will be a slap on the wrist. This will be some vacated wins, some things here and there. What are they going to do? Because they say this, everybody sign steals. It's just how Michigan did it that people didn't really like. You know what I like? Our big play bracket of the week. In honor and spirit, what are you going as your Halloween costume on Tuesday, Ryan? Or should we dress up for the show?
We could. I would be down to do it. I was the Joker. So I actually already had a Halloween party. I was the Joker. I had the full get up, the full makeup, and everything.
I like it. Well, our favorite Halloween character, you want to let it run because there's some time left on it?
We can.
All right. Michael Myers out to a lead, 63%. I think he should be the big favorite there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Jason Voorhees, Beetlejuice, and Freddy Krueger, the other three. So vote on it at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there on Twitter, YouTube. We're on Facebook, our Instagram for all of our clips and our videos right there. I almost said viral. It'd be like to go viral. What's up with this Taylor Swift thing, by the way?
Was it what did I miss?
I guess the album Is there something getting released today with her?
I think it might have been either yesterday, maybe. I think she's just another one of those things where she re-released one of her old albums. Like I think
just make $1 bajillion off
I think
of
it's
it?
like since she got her music back with that whole, I think it was like Scooter Braun thing or whatever.
Oh,
so I know she re-released one of her albums. I think
right.
she's just doing that again.
Checks notes. I took Denver. Maybe I should take KC. I mean, it's a big thing for Travis Kelce there.
Yeah.
Are you sick of it yet? I mean, I knew you've been sick of it.
Yeah.
Kind of been over it.
Yeah, I'm so over it. So over it.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So congratulations to Taylor Swift on probably making $1 bajillion as it goes out. All right, enjoy the weekend. For the Browns, again, the path to victory, I think, is there. The calming force that is the win, because do you feel like this week, Ryan, the Browns have maybe taken control of this Watson situation a little bit more?
I don't know if I'm ready to go and say that, they, like, obviously, I think most people would agree it's not totally under control, but it's definitely a sign of hopefully more positive things to come.
That's it. That's what we need, is the positivity. And for the Browns to say, they ruled him out on Wednesday. We're not sitting here trying to debate it and trying to. We're on to PJ Walker. Watson spoke yesterday. It feels like he's getting closer to play. I'm shutting down all of this other stuff, man. It's going to come out. Does he want to play here? Is he on the hot seat? Or like, you don't have a choice with Deshaun Watson. Good, bad, or bad, whatever. Deshaun Watson's your quarterback for this season and next season. I know that because follow the money. The best option for the Cleveland Browns has always been for him to improve and for him to get better. For that to happen, he's got to get on the field. And I think the Browns are maybe learning some mistakes that they made in the handling of this. Should they have just put him on IR? Maybe. Effectively, he's been on IR. He's been out. Now, that hit against the Colts, did it slow things down? I don't know. He's out this week, and that's fine. Go get a win. Go get a win, not because you need one, not because you see a path to, because then it affords you that extra week. It gives you that extra little bit of time that you can get for Deshaun Watson for him to get right, and you can go on this run. I'm not trying to look ahead. Seattle's a big win, a big game if you can get it. Big game, big win if you can get it. But the rest of the schedule, if you can have a healthy Deshaun Watson, you are still staring down the barrel of 10, 11 wins. 10, 11 wins will get you in the playoffs and the wild card, and that's what you need. To be also honest, I think Baltimore's playing some of their best football, and I think the Bengals are starting to come up now, all of a sudden. So you got to just keep pace. And with where they're at 4-2, it's amazing. They've done a great job. 5-2 would be phenomenal, just for that opportunity to sit Watson for another week. Now, you might face that Cardinals team and say, we'll see how it goes. This is going to be a game you're going to need PJ Walker. I'm going PJ Walker. I'm going to need a touchdown here from Kareem Hunt as well. Play that low-scoring game. Play it out. Play it as tough as you can. And we'll see where the chips lay. We'll see where it goes from there. Because I think also when it comes to Seattle, they're a fighting team too. Like, they're in a playoff hunt in the NFC. They can't let these games slip away either. This is going to be a fun game. I'm really excited for Sunday's game. It's a different feel, too, than how it was with the Colts game and even with the 49ers game. Because you went into that 49ers game thinking we were going to get throttled, and you went into the Colts game thinking, like, all right, we got Deshaun Watson here. I have an unweirdly amount of confidence in P.J. Walker for this game, Ryan, and I think it's in part because they made the right decision to sit Watson and telling Walker on Wednesday, you're starting, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too. I don't know if I would use confident.
I got confidence. Yeah. I got a little confidence for it.
I would just like to, obviously the touchdowns would be super nice. But for me, it's just limit the turnovers.
Yeah, I mean that's been it. In a game like this, where if it's going to be as close as ours, penalties and turnovers are always a big part of it. But you're going to need your quarterback to lead you on to victory. You're going to need to have these guys lead around PJ Walker. He's going to have to throw a touchdown in this game. The Browns mark this for Monday. They will not win this game on Sunday if P.J. Walker does not throw a touchdown. I think he will, maybe even 2. Hope the Browns get a win. I would say low scoring. I'm going to take the under. Obviously, I'll take the Browns to cover. Really appreciate everybody joining us on a Football Friday edition. Again, don't forget coming up, Chico 12-2, big play, big bets. Dave and Nick and Ted Ginn Jr., that show will air tonight, and they also do a re-airing of it Sunday morning. So check it out. All you got to do is go to Big Play on Twitter. All of our shows are replayed there. All of the tweets from the show accounts are all retweeted right there. So it's an easy place to get you. So that's what we got on a Football Friday. We're wrapping up 9 to 11. We got 12 to 2 with Chico. Big play, big bets tonight. And then all the replays that you need. And then recapping the weekend. Bobby Carper, Anthony Schlegel on Sunday night. Reflog show on Monday night. Josh and Maria Cribbs on Tuesday. Wednesday, bonus time with Bruce Drennan. Hanford goes Monday, does he not?
Yep.
Okay, and then you have Blake and Greg on Wednesdays, right? Tuesdays? Whenever they can get in here. With Come Get Some. It's one of our newest shows right here on Big Play. So we appreciate all the support. We appreciate you following and watching. Again, Big Play, Matt Fontana Show, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It is all there. The glorious weekend almost upon us. Enjoy the hell out of it. Get ready to go for all your Halloween parties. I know a lot of people will be celebrating this weekend with the Tuesday holiday. Go get them Browns. Go get them Buckeyes. Get it tonight, Cavs. And we'll talk to you on Monday after a beautiful weekend. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. And as always, take it easy.